of life. And the NEC is actually the NEC that excluded Governor El-Rufai from this very conference is the second highest authority of the association. So the TCCP is bound by the decision of the NEC.
Okay.
When the TCCP actually nominated him, it was not convenient for the masses, for the members of the association, and they raised a protest immediately to the NEC that could make a decision to counter what the TCCP had set up, and it actually worked out. The protest worked out good.
Okay, so can you take us through if I understand you correctly, the two reasons why the NBA executive decided to disinvite El-Rufai, according to the petitions that was being signed by a lot of people against him, are one, the position he has taken on the Southern Kaduna killings, and the two, his disrespect for the rule of law, disobedience to court orders, and violation of the rights of some Kaduna citizens. Am I getting it correct?
Very correct, very correct.
Okay. Apart from El-Rufai, who are the other people invited to at the Nigerian Bar Association Annual General Conference?
We have Northern Elites, Southern Elites.
Their names, please.
I will name them.
Yes.
The Vice President, Yemi Osibajo, the Attorney General of the Federation, Malami, the CJN, Tanko Mohammed. We have Aisha Mohammed. We have Ike Ikweremadu. We have the former President Olusegun Obasanjo. We have many others, many others.
So but are you telling us conclusively now that if the standard applied to disinvite El-Rufai is also applied to the other speakers at the conference, that the rest will pass with flying colors? Is that the point you are trying to make?
Oh, my opinion is that El-Rufai had a standing petition that was made against him. If anybody feels that any of the invited speakers have something that should not make them presentable to the platform of the NBA, then they should make out the petition, make a protest as well. We sent our own message in regards to the person that we feel should not send a wrong signal. So if there's any other person that they feel that should be excluded, then I think they should go ahead and make a petition to that regard. We are not supporting any politician, but we are there to promote, protect the rule of law, and to prevent any wrong signal to be sent to the public.
Okay, now are you aware? I don't know whether it is correct, but I think I read this morning that there is in fact, there is a petition I saw in one WhatsApp forum on change.org, where the petition against El-Rufai was also made. Some people are saying that former President Olusegun Obasanjo and Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State should also not be invited, because these people appears to have also a history of disrespect to the rule of law. Are you aware of such petition making rounds now?
I'm fully aware, but...
So are you assuring us that the NBA executive will also consider the petitions?
The conference is in 4 days' time, and if they continue to remove and bring in people, I think they will destabilize the system. They have done the main exclusion that have sent a very good message to the Nigerian politicians that they cannot do anything and get away with it. One way or the other, you you will meet the other face of life. You know, most of the politicians, they have made themselves demigods and they see themselves as untouchable. So Olusegun Obasanjo is not a saint. He has done so many things that are despicable. Nevertheless, he has been writing some funny letters as well that has passed some good message as well. Nobody is a saint in Nigeria. And we are concerned about people that will send wrong signals on the platform of the NBA. That's our major concern.
So why did the outgoing president of the Nigeria Bar Association apologize to El-Rufai for the disinvitation, not only over the telephone, but also by a letter written to the I think the Secretary General of the Nigerian Governors Forum, and which was made public? Why was Paul Usoro also apologizing to Governor El-Rufai for this invitation if they feel that they are on solid ground?
Mr. Paul Usoro made his apology on a personal ground, not for the association, because the association, they have the right to decide who will speak with them and who will not speak with them. He made his apology on a personal ground, and he was trying to bring a clarification that there was no religious or ethnic background to the removal, to the exclusion of El-Rufai. I have never been a fan of, okay, yes, I voted for Paul Usoro, but at some point, I've never been a fan of his style of administration. I have written several press releases, even an open letter to Paul Usoro to express my sadness towards his manner of going about things. I remember the president once retracted a tweet where the Nigerian Bar Association said the House should proceed on impeachment where the president fails to retract his action. And the next minute, they removed the tweet, they retracted it, and the Paul Usoro said it was not the opinion of the NBA. I wrote clearly that was a very big sign, a very big blow to the association, and a sign of a coward. Paul Usoro plays some kind of politics, and I don't understand him. But left for me, I will say it. The association owes nobody no apology, because we must protect the sacred platform of the NBA. His exclusion is for the greater good, and we owe him no apology for that.
So what you are saying is that the apology written by Paul Usoro is in his personal capacity and not as the president of the Nigerian Bar Association.
Personal capacity.
All right. Okay. I have something posted on the chat forum by no other person than by Mr. Chede Odinkalo. He is saying that the reasons why Mr. El-Rufai was deplatformed is not the petition on change.org, but the petition written by the Open Bar Initiative addressed to the TCCP. So I've seen the petition posted here now, where they are requesting that Malam El-Rufai be disinvited. So let me, I've not read this petition. Have you read the petition by the Open Bar Initiative? So you tell us about it, or do you want us to bring it out?
I think the Prof is here, Prof that actually championed the cause. I must give kudos and credit to him. He actually gave us the voice, to the platform to put in our voice. Since Prof is here, he should give us more light about this. I'm so happy that he's here.
Well, I will be happy to invite Prof to speak, but the time to invite others to speak have not. You still have the floor now. In the next 5 minutes, we'll be asking our listeners for anybody who has a contribution to make. But right now, my question is: have you read this petition by the Open Bar Initiative?
Yes, I read the petition. And
are you able to give us an idea of? I didn't read it myself. I read all that, but I've not read this one, unfortunately. Are you able to give us a little piece of what their petition is about?
In summary of the petition, they made out a very weighty very weighty petition against him, which includes some of his violations of court orders. And they actually brought out names of persons he has actually incarcerated. They gave us full details of court orders, various court orders. He actually penned cases, even ongoing cases, that he will go ahead and do his wish. And very bad signal. Executive rascality is the order of the day. And if we don't bring some people back to order, they will see it as the norm of the society. So I like their petition because they spelled out each of their grounds and brought out the very complaint against the governor.
Okay, do you see this controversy about Malam El-Rufai's disqualification? How do you see it impact on the Nigeria Bar Association generally? Do you see it as dividing the association, or will it bring the association closer?
As I said earlier on, this decision was made by the NEC, that is the second highest authority of the association. I don't see reason why branches should be raising a counter argument to that. That shows that the NBA needs to sit up. The NBA has been defaulting in having her LPDC, her disciplinary committee, work well, and is not sending a good message for the members. I think if they start the corrections procedure, it will send a very good message to certain persons to respect the authorities of the association. It's very wrong, it's very sad to see branches revolting against the national. This is not the first time it is happening. I remember when the national made a declaration for a boycott of the court. The same Jigawa branch opposed it, and others followed suit. Now they are doing the same thing. They're doing the same thing because there was no consequences for their first action. I believe the NBA must do something to unite the bar. And if you want to unite the bar, you must use the cane and the pampering. They must use the disciplinary committee effectively, and they must take care of the lawyers, the welfare of the lawyers adequately. So they need to unite the bar. Right now, it will actually cause some kind of misunderstanding in the bar, and it will send wrong signals. But the NBA can use this opportunity to correct the wrong signals. I think they should use this opportunity even to send a very strong message on persons that are countering the position of the national. They need to correct this narrative.
Now let's extrapolate this controversy now in the Nigeria Bar Association to the Nigeria, to the nation as a whole. We have seen it appear. Does it appear to you that those supporting this invitation of Malam El-Rufai is mainly from the southern part of Nigeria, southern Christians, while those who are angry that he has been invited appears to be the northern Muslims? Does it appear to you to be that way?
I refuse to agree to that, because even the president, Paul Usoro himself, made mention of the fact that at the NEC meeting, those that were promoting his exclusion were even Northerners. Even he said a Northern SAN had like more of the push for his exclusion. More Northerners were actually up for that. You know, the attitude of this governor is not strictly like against Christians, or like I see his attitude as a general something. He displays his attitude against Christians, against even the Shiite group. So that he shares the same faith with. So I will not say he is absolutely against a particular religion or a particular section. Now, and in this very protest, I don't see it again as one particular section rising against him, because there are also Northerners that are against him coming to that platform.
Okay, now my next question is, if it's not sectional, if it is not religious, do you think it is as well political? Because I think it appears to me that the first time that someone of El-Rufai's station have been invited and disinvited. I've not heard, I don't know whether it's happened before. So do you think this controversy is political, even if it is not regional or sectional?
I will tell you that this has nothing to do with political flavor. And this is not the first time that Governor El-Rufai has been refused to speak in an occasion like that. We have the Nigerian Association program in Kano that he was invited and he was turned down at where the members also refused.
So when was that?
That was I can't remember the year actually, but this actually happened. I am very familiar with the fact of this. So this is not the first time he's experiencing this. It has nothing to do with political flavor. It is actually based on good conscience and for the betterment of the members of the bar. Now we're looking at a step forward. We're looking at a step forward. We need ideas that will build the bar, not send wrong signals. So we're not looking for political statements now. We're looking for the right words that will develop the bar. It has nothing to do with politics, nothing. No political coloration.
Thank you very much, Mr. Emmanuel Zion. Your last name always, I don't know why it's escaped, but thank you very much for this presentation. At this point, we will be happy to welcome questions or comments from our listeners and viewers, especially Prof. Please, now that you are here, Professor Denkalu, please, we would like to hear your take. This is a topic that you were very passionate about, and you played a very strong role in what transpired. And now that we are happy to welcome you to this event. Now that you are here, please, we'd like to hear from you in a short while. If you don't mind, please, I'm making this request. If you'll do us the pleasure of giving your opinion. Now, Emmanuel, please. My next question will be, well, the Jigawa branch of the Nigerian Bar Association, Ewere, I think another state have also signaled that they may withdraw from the Nigerian Bar Association annual conference because of this invitation. What had happened to El-Rufai, they see it as injustice. Should Nigeria have just one bar association? Do you think, if, after all, we know that the criminal code, there is a lot of, well, there is a separate criminal code for the North and one criminal code for the South. And again, each state have their own civil procedural rules, which they have enacted for their own states. I practice in the United Kingdom. Solicitors in Scotland have their own legal body regulating them. England and Wales have their own. England have their own legal system. Scotland have their own legal system. Now in Nigeria, we have seen, for instance, what's happening with the Sharia court in Kano passed a death sentence for someone who blasphemed the Muslim religion. I'm sure that no state in the South will even send to prison, talk less of a death sentence, on anyone who blasphemed Christianity. Now, because of these disparities in several parts of the country, should Nigeria have one legal system? Should Nigeria have just one bar regulating the entire country, seeing how large the country is? What is your view on this matter?
My view is that Nigeria should go back to the regional system. Let each region operate our own bar because of our ethnic difference, our religious stand. I think this will go a long way in promoting what we believe and our morals and values. But the incident of the day has made it that the moment a person is called to the Nigerian bar, you automatically become a member of the Nigerian Bar Association, and you become bound by everything, the constitution, the resolutions, the ideas of the association. And this has not really gone well for many because of our divergence view and ideas. I think that a regional bar system should operate where the South will have their own bar, the North will have their own bar, and they can promote their own system, while the South can promote their own system, each region with its own ideology, and that would be a very good one. And I think it will send a good message to the Nigerian system that the regional government is what is advisable at the moment.
We thank you very much. Now it's time to take comments and questions from our audience today. Well, Prof Odenkalu, please, can you unmute yourself and, if possible, start your video and tell us your take on the topic we have tonight, which is the Nigerian Bar Association Annual Conference and the controversy regarding Governor Nasir El-Rufai, please. Thank you very much, Prof.
Sorry, good evening, Dan. I'm in a bit of a borrowed space and may have to run, but thank you for organizing this and for the opportunity. Can I just say one or two things about your last question, the point about whether or not Nigeria needs or should have one bar association? And I think that's an interesting question. It's also even more interesting that it's being raised over El-Rufai, who is a very divisive figure. And my take is, whether or not Nigeria should have one bar association is not the beginning. Should Nigeria have one national judicial council? Should be the question we should begin with. Because after what has happened over the past year with Onogen and the current Chief Justice, given that we're a federal structure in which you have state courts and federal courts, why does Nigeria have one national judicial council? Where, I mean, you've seen what has happened with the latest nominations to the Supreme Court, right? 4 justices from the South nominated about 5-6 months ago or so, and their nominations kept in the cooler. And then what happened? Another set nominated in the last 2 weeks, and one of them, the justices nominated in the last 2 weeks, are senior in the Court of Appeal to the ones who were nominated earlier. Now, all of them are likely to be appointed at the same time, and the ones who were nominated later will become senior to the ones who were nominated earlier. Why? Because of where they come from in the country. Now, that is the question, I think, because lawyers are not the beginning of this thing. Lawyers practice before court systems, right? So how do we address the fact that a federal court system has been utilized in such a way that it is designed for purposes other than administration of justice? If we can break up the National Judicial Council, then it seems to me logical that on the back of that, we will create a decentralized bar. But if we are going to have one National Judicial Council as it is presently run, then the question of whether or not we need to have one national bar, it seems to me, should not arise. And this really is the central nub of this issue. People have tried to sensationalize what has happened with El-Rufai, there was no Christian killed in the Zaria massacre. There was no Biafran killed. No IPOB person was killed in Zaria massacre. Every person killed in Zaria massacre was a Muslim. 347 human beings in one operation taking over 6 hours had their bodies loaded up in trucks. Using 47 soldiers, it took over 6 hours to bury them. And one man was gloating over this massacre. Who was that man? Nasir El-Rufai. Why should we have a mass murderer coming to talk to us about law and about life and about being Nigerian? There is a look, Shiites have been massacred. In Birningwari, Muslims are massacred. In Shikon local government, indigenous are massacred. In Kajuru, the Adara are massacred. In Kataf, the Atiap are massacred. This is equal opportunity massacre we're talking about. And the man goes on national TV and says what? That it is their brothers that are killing them. So if he knows that their brothers are killing them, does that make the killing justified and that they are collecting money? You will think that a responsible governor, knowing all of this, will take steps to bring those people to account. But the major reason, quite honestly, that the NBA acted the way it did was the set of questions about his, not for court orders, but attacks on lawyers. Okay? Audu Mekori, a lawyer, El-Rufai ordered him abducted from Lagos and driven to Kaduna, where he was detained because Audu said what El-Rufai did not like. Audu went to court. High Court ruled in his favor. El-Rufai refused to pay. Court of Appeal has ruled in his favor. El-Rufai has refused to pay. Gloria Ballason, the NBA president, went to see El-Rufai, and El-Rufai said because Ms. Ballason had written an article he did not like, he was going to abduct her and send her to jail. Gloria Ballason got a court order. El-Rufai has refused to pay. What happened? He then sent the police after her again. They blockaded her law office and chased her out of her law office last November. For 3 months, she was exiled from Kaduna. The courts had to order the police to vacate. Gloria Ballason has won a court order, and what happened? They are not paying. Those attacks on the legal profession, and the judge, Justice Hannatu Balogun, in her judgment in Gloria Ballason's case last month, specifically found that El-Rufai and the police in his state were attacking the legal profession. This was the High Court of Kaduna State. That was the linchpin of the issue. The question is not whether or not we like El-Rufai or whether or not we like Obasanjo or Awike. The point is this: we have to learn to institutionalize our struggles. Those who want to object to Obasanjo and Wike for good reason, a book on Obasanjo, I'm probably one of Nigeria's best experts on Obasanjo. Those who want to object to them should do what? Write the thing down and pursue it institutionally with the NBA's organs. Let us start holding all these people to account. If I see the same charges, or even something, 20% of the charges we have against El-Rufai, I will sign up. It's as simple as that.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. You say you are on borrowed time, otherwise I will have asked you some questions on the issues you have raised, but
feel free to ask if you want.
Okay, with deference to Emmanuel Ewere, please, I will come back to you with this question. But Prof, the issue against El-Rufai is attack on lawyers. My question will still be, if the same standards applied to Malam Nasir El-Rufai is applied to all other invited, I'm so sorry, it's applied to other invited speakers as well, will they pass? Will they be enabled to speak at this conference? And what is does NBA have a standardized criteria with which they used to assess whoever is they're inviting to speak at their conference, or it's just an arbitrary thing. If we receive if we receive a petition, fine. If you don't receive a petition, we allow the person to come and speak.
Now, I've been on sabbatical myself from the NBA. As you well know, I am at least one person who went on record to say Paul Usoro was unsuitable to be president of the NBA. From the beginning, I told him to his face he was unsuitable. I've been on record about that. I make no bones about that. Paul is not suitable to be president of the bar. That has been my very well-established position for 3 years. Now, so only Paul can answer those questions. I'm on sabbatical from the NBA until Paul's tenure is over. As to standards applicable, my view, quite honestly, is that the NBA has been part of the problem rather than part of the solution. The introduction of digital era into the NBA's affairs means we can wrest control in a form that begins to make the NBA accountable. We can no longer continue to offer platforms and social capital to legitimize irresponsible and ruinous people. That is what this example of El-Rufai shows. And I'm saying, let us begin also, let everybody who feels seriously about these things begin to make demands in a way that people can act upon. It's not just change.org. When you get the change.org, you've got to get it into the system. That is why we sent our own letter to Konya Ajayi. Konya Ajayi, by the way, is El-Rufai's, Konya Ajayi, who heads the TCCP, is El-Rufai's personal lawyer and has been for a while. And he was the personal lawyer to SLS at the central bank. So the relationships for me are clear. And there are underlying issues of insider dealing I'm not going to go into here. But my point is, we've got to elevate all of these issues now to a place where we begin to hold people accountable. We can no longer operate the way we have done business until now. Absolutely not.
Right. Thank you very much, Prof. We thank you for your time. Mr. Ewere, you have had the presentation that Prof has made to this issue. Do you have a response, or what do you have to say with some of the points raised by Prof that we are not mentioned, that we have not covered initially?
I agree with Prof 100% that the solutions of the bar is not in the hands of our oppressors. Those persons that have caused so much disregard to the association, to the judicial system, cannot provide solution to the bar. So it should not be anywhere close to the association. And we all know that in a democratic setting, pressure groups are a necessity. And the NBA is supposed to be the front row persons leading other CSOs. But right now, the NBA is a press releasing body that can only back and cannot bite. Why? Because they have a very weak system, very weak institutions, very weak sections, and that is bad. If the narratives are not changed, if the leadership do not take responsibilities, then it is wrong. That's why I was disappointed when the president actually apologized to Governor El-Rufai. We owe him no apology. If the body of the association you represent are saying that we are not ready to have Governor El-Rufai on our platform, then I should work with the majority. He should work with the association he represents and not try to paint or politicalize the whole thing. Now, the NBA has pressing issues to look into, like Section 839, sub 1 of the newcomer that they are watching churches protest about. It can affect the NBA as well. Any government that wakes up, any mischievous government that wakes up one day and perceive the NBA to be an opposition and place a phone call to the Director General of the CAC to appoint new management, interim management for the NBA. And that has actually ceased the operation of the NBA. If they are not concerned about such position of the law, where the CAC will be operating on absolute powers without court orders, without court permission, then they are not ready for the needful. They are not ready for the right thing. They have pressing issues to look into, not having political talks with persons like El-Rufai that will send the wrong narratives. I agree with Prof on the issues they raised in their petition. And I think it is a foundation to other associations to hold leaders accountable for their actions and inactions. Now, not just El-Rufai as a person. This is a message for every politician and every organization to select only people with credible records so that they will not pollute the mind of Nigerians.
I thank you very much for this for your answer and your presentation. We have only about 5 minutes remaining to move into our next program for the day. But now that you have raised this issue about Kamana, would you say that the NBA is asleep to their duties to the Nigeria, because NBA, being a civil society organization, have a responsibility to Nigerians to speak up when matters of law will impact on the well-being of Nigerians? Take the Kama you have mentioned, for example. Why would the civil society wait? This law was debated at the National Assembly House of Representatives, debated at the National Assembly, the Senate, passed by both houses, probably sent back to each houses for reconciliation and ratification of whatever, and then sent to the president. I even learned that it stayed for a long time on the president's table because of one thing again that Nigerians may not be aware of. One of the provisions, one of the issues that this newcomer set to rectify, is the requirement that the Attorney General will no longer have the final say if an international investor wants to come into Nigeria. So the law says that for an international investor to be allowed to register a company into Nigeria, the Attorney General will have to sign it off. Then, in order to enable freely international investors to come in, the new law sought to remove that provision. But the Attorney General office refused to sanction that. Despite all the protestations by investors, despite protestations by several interest groups to remove that requirement for the Attorney General to sign it off, he refused. This present Attorney General refused to allow it, and that was what delayed the passage of this law by the president. So what was happening is the civil society not aware of their responsibilities. When these laws were being passed, nobody made any noise until now that I would say it's too late. What do you think? Is the Nigerian Bar Association and the rest of the civil society asleep or what?
I will not blame the CSOs, because the NBA is supposed to be the front runner of this whole activism. The NBA is supposed to lead and they will follow. The NBA is also an incorporated trustee, so they can be affected by such laws. And in a country like Nigeria, you cannot leave absolute powers in the hands of Nigerian politicians, because they will use it mischievously. These laws may be helpful in other jurisdictions, but in Nigeria, they will use it mischievously. And it is so sad that NBA will not rise on this very occasion. Now they are watching churches protest and they are thinking it will only affect churches, not knowing that very soon it will become known to the whole system that every incorporated trustee can be affected by this law.
But that's my point. That's my point. Why wait till now? The law has been passed at the National Assembly. The president has signed off on the law. Why did they wait till now to start protesting when it is too late? What do they want anybody to do? Why wait till now?
It is so sad. And I don't believe it is late. It can be amended. I don't
By
believe.
who? By who?
It will go back to the process. And now even a court decision can override that provision.
Then let them go to court. Why protest? Why don't they go to court?
That is where the NBA is missing her whole gist. The NBA has the courts at her beck and call to achieve any favorable decision that will profit the Nigerian nation and her members. But it is very, very rare to see the NBA pushing public interest litigations, pushing ideas of the nation to the courts. It is very sad. It is very sad. The courts have a say on this. And if any judicial pronouncement is made on that provision of, it has overruled it. I wait to see the response of the NPA on this. I hope they will discuss this in their 60th edition of their conference.
Thank you very much, Mr. Emmanuel Ewere, for being with us tonight. It's been a pleasure listening to you dissect this topic. We are waiting for our next guest to join us to discuss the next topic, the 1999 Constitution and the rise of ethnic nationalism in